So here's one question I keep getting from sales enablement leaders right now. Where does Retorio actually fit? The large language models, they are doing more every month. Your CRM and your LMS system, they're still somewhere in your tech stack, right? So where do we stand? And let me answer that. Retorio's job is one specific job: to be the personalized, scalable coach for your entire sales force. Not the authoring tool, not the content factory, the coach. The system that makes every sales rep walk into every meeting with the right behaviors to win the deal. And a few things changed because of that. Setting up coaching programs, writing content, designing scenarios, that increasingly happens outside of Retorio in the large language models. In your CRM, wherever your data and your context already live. What stays inside Retorio is the part nobody else can do. Understanding each individual rep, their strengths, their weaknesses, and coaching them on the behaviors that increase how warm and competent the reps come across in front of a real customer. Warmth and competence is the scientific model behind how customers judge salespeople. Do I feel comfortable around them? Do I trust they are capable? And we are moving past pure roleplay. Roleplay is still the engine, but Retorio is becoming an agentic sales coach that sees the full context the reps operate in, the deals they're working on, the skills that they're missing, the winning behaviors that really close deals. So let me show you what that looks like in practice in a simple example. So here's the setup. On my screen is Claude in co-work mode. Claude is connected to our CRM system, which is HubSpot. And in another tab, I have the Retorio admin platform open. Hey Claude, please look across the client communication of my sales reps as it is documented in HubSpot. Tell me their strongest and weakest skills. What can each of them improve in how they talk to clients? Give me an anonymized list, no specific client examples, but please visualize it for me so that I can later on use it to design a coaching program. So Claude now wants me to tell it which time window I should analyze. Let's look at the last 6 months. Which reps do I want to be involved? All active sales reps. And it asked me what I want to have considered. So let's look at emails, calls, meeting notes, deals, and contracts. So as you see here, Claude is now running through our CRM system with, I think these are 7 different AI agents in parallel. So here's what comes back within a few moments. This is not a generic report. It is grounded in what actually happened in our pipeline. And it is anonymized for this video, but in your real instance, every line would name a real sales rep. And as you see, some of my sales reps have issues with value framing. There's an issue in objection handling. I see that generally value framing is the biggest challenge I have in my team, right? And then it gives me an individual report telling me where each of my sales reps stand in terms of the skills that Claude just analyzed for us. So that is just half the answer. The other half is what are we going to do about it, right? And this is where Retorio comes into play. So what I will now do is tell Claude to start building a Retorio coaching program to fix these skill gaps. So, hey Claude, please connect to my browser, open Retorio, and set up a custom coaching program for each sales rep that targets their most urgent gap. Pull a typical client persona out of HubSpot and use it inside the Retorio configuration so that the coaching program matches who they actually sell to. Give me an update once you're done. So as you see, the Claude agent is now looking in the CRM system, identifying some of our most typical client personas. It will probably ask me some questions on the way. So it's now asking me for the language in which I want to coach my people. If they spoke in different languages, I could pick pretty much any language here. So Claude now got access to my browser and started to work within my Retorio environment. And this is what I meant in the intro. Claude and Retorio are now doing the heavy lifting. I'm just orchestrating it Claude reads the CRM system, it pulls real client personas, it wires up the coaching brief inside Retorio in the admin environment, and Retorio then runs the actual coaching program. I'm not doing anything right now. Everything you see happening here is done by Claude in combination with Retorio. So Claude is now building a client persona within Retorio based on real client conversations that we have documented in the CRM system. Giving the client persona a face and a personality. See, Claude is now giving the persona needs and pains, goals, typical objections. I'm not touching anything. It's all doing that by itself. And here you go. It seems Claude is now done setting up the coaching program. In the next step, I will ask it to roll it out for me. So, hey Claude, please now invite my user cohort Retorio internal training and make the new coaching program you just set up accessible to every user in that cohort. If you can, remind them that this new coaching program is live. So it's now by itself publishing the program and deciding to share an update with our learners that the new coaching program is online. Publishing will take roughly 5 minutes.
404 millennia later.
So now it gets interesting. The program is now published, and as an end user, I receive an invite telling me that this new coaching program is available to me. So once I log in, I will see the new coaching program and I can directly try it out. So my job here as a sales rep is to sharpen my value framing skill, which is the skill gap that Claude has identified for me. And I do that by talking to a simulated client, Anna Reinhardt, who is head of sales enablement in the insurance industry and who's based on a typical client profile in our CRM system. Let's see how that goes. Here we go.
Hi, thanks for making time. Before you walk me through anything, I want to be upfront. My CSO is still waiting on one concrete number from us that justifies renewal. Where do we stand?
Well, that's why I was seeking to have this call with you today. So what I wanted to do today is talk about your targets for this year and basically see. So here you can see me struggle in the situation that Claude identified as the biggest challenge for my sales team. Conversations with existing clients where they have to frame value. And as you see, I also had my difficulties framing the value that our technology brings to this specific simulated client. And that's the whole point of it, right? So we bring the sales guys into very challenging conversations that typically are more challenging than the situations they will actually have with real clients. And we get them out of their comfort zone and give them very straightforward, very direct feedback on what they could have done better. And quite often, feedback coming from an AI coach is perceived as more psychologically safe than feedback coming from a human coach. Keep in mind that the AI coach can keep all their observations to themselves. And this conversation now continues for quite a while. So typically these conversations take 10 to 15 minutes. So let's listen in for a bit more.
Plan we can work with. The reduction in time to first policy will be our key metric. To be clear then, for renewal, we will be looking for demonstrable improvement in this metric over the next 90 days, with a report within 60 days to review progress.
404 millennia later.
Please keep in mind, typically this conversation would just be between me and the AI coach, and it's a lot easier for me to embarrass myself in front of an AI than in front of a real client.
Improvement.
So I now talked to Anna for roughly 10 minutes, and I have to say she quite challenged me. And now the AI coach will give me some feedback on what I could have done better. So let's see what the AI coach has to say.
You missed an opportunity to directly relate Retorio's impact to Anna's key performance indicators. It's crucial to connect the dots for her. Let's re-examine Anna's response when you shifted the focus. Anna clearly reiterated her need for a concrete number related to the time to first policy, not a general ROI multiple. She needs a percentage improvement in that specific metric for her CSO. Now, watch your statement that led to her clarification.
I think that's a good cutoff criteria to set, don't you think so?
Instead of providing a concrete number related to the time to first policy, you shifted the focus to ROI in terms of a multiple of cost savings. This did not address Anna's direct question about a percentage improvement in her operational KPI. To effectively persuade Anna, you needed to explicitly link Retorio's completion uplift to conversion rates. For example, you could have said, "Our data indicates that a 30% completion rate uplift, as seen with other clients, typically translates to a 5 to 7% improvement in new hire policy conversion rates."
So, given that the high coach saw a lot of improvement with my own approach, I actually did the scenario several times until I reached a higher score and ultimately ended up on a 89%. And this time the AI also gave me feedback on warmth and competence. How warm did I come across and how competent, including factors like empathy, active listening, my confidence, and persona-oriented communication. As an admin, I can instantly get some data back from the AI coach and learn how my participant has done, right? So if I identified a skill gap and I want my sales reps to work on it, I can look into the platform and see to which extent they are improving from their first coaching sessions and towards their last coaching sessions, and I can set them a goal and benchmark them against it. So this way I can make sure that I don't only identify a skill gap, but that I can set up a personalized scalable coaching program to close it, and I can validate that closing the skill gap really worked, and I have data that shows that. And so here's why this really matters. Claude, Copilot, the rest of the new generation AI tools, they are excellent at insight. They can read your pipeline, they spot patterns, they summarize thousands of cells in seconds, but they're not coaches, right? So they don't run repeated behavioral practice with your sales reps. They do not measure how someone gets better at handling an objection over 6 weeks, for instance, right? While the CRM holds the ground truth, it is just a database. It tells you what happened. It does not change what happens next. And Retorio is the layer that closes the loop. It takes the insight, it runs the coaching, it measures the behavior, and it shows you in detail how you're closing the gap. So back to the question I opened with. Where does Retorio fit? Retorio is the coach that makes your sales force the kind AI cannot replace. The ones who build real trust, the ones who understand the customer in front of them, the ones who really care about them and who close. The future belongs to sellers that AI cannot replace. Make yours ready.